Hey, what's up with it, y'all? Welcome to my podcast, Cold Narratives. I'm your host, Iceberg Green. About to let y'all hear some of these cold narratives. Check it out. Some of the things I'm about to say may be insensitive to you or to someone you know, but it's not to offend you. It's just to get my point across and to preach my narrative. Fair use. Thank you very much. First off, I want to say I send my condolences to those who have lost lives at the hand of this mass killing. Okay, so Robert Card, you guys. This streaming, I'm sure everyone sees what's going on. So they've been he's still on the run. They've been trying to get in touch with his siblings to find out a little bit more about this guy. Because immediately they go mental illness. This guy's mentally ill. First of all, you guys, he went in a bowling alley full of kids. Then went from there to a bar. And after killing all these people, he knew to run. He knew to go on the run. It takes a lot of consciousness and to make those type of decisions. Mentally ill would be something like, oh, let me just sit here and cry after I've committed all these atrocities. He ran. So to me, that doesn't say mentally ill. That says to me he's sane. He's sane enough to know that what he did was wrong, so let me run. See, so that's when I say when they throw these mental illness things out there for the public and to pretty much, you got to pay attention to this, because when it comes to black people, it's never a case mental issue, and we have more mental issues than any group based on the circumstance of how we were raised and all the stuff we've been through. But soon as these dudes commit mass killings, they say mass shootings, but that's not true. These are killings. 18 people are dead, innocent people, kids included. And this guy went on a rampage of murder. And he's on a run still. So what they're doing, they're trying to get in touch with his siblings, and they're not really releasing too much information. They're trying to keep this under wraps until they get a good narrative for it, because they know it's totally wrong. No one can justify any of this. Mental illness honestly cannot justify this. So even if he is mentally ill, it doesn't warrant this type of behavior. I know a bunch of mentally ill people, and they say he's hearing voices. Well, he's hearing voices. Why doesn't he hear the voice that says, don't do it? When they say they hearing voices and all this stuff, it's always a negative voice telling him, oh, go do something bad. What about that voice he's hearing that says, don't do this? See, he heard that voice once he did it, and he ran. That's when that voice he was hearing said, run. You better run. They coming. So all these voices he was hearing, one of them voices told him to run. Yeah, after that voice that told him to do it, that other voice said, run. Okay, so these mental illness cases that you guys use to justify these murders or try to dummy down on the fact that this guy committed an atrocity and it was a mass killing, not shooting. I'm not going to go too much into this because the more detail is coming out, but based on what I've covered so far and acknowledged, this is what's going on. They're trying to use this mental illness thing as a scapegoat. So you guys pay attention to this case, and I want you, based on my perspective and my narrative, this was not a mental illness thing. This was more of him acting out what he'd been wanting to act out. He was a military vet, so he knew how to do this. He knew how to do it and get away because he'd been in the military, and that's what they do as far as defense. So you guys take it for what y'all want to take it for. I'm just here to report on it and give you my narrative. I mean, it's so much stuff going on in this world right now, inside this country, outside this country. And, one thing I will say, they are focusing outside this country. And this is an example of how big the problem is within this country. We go out our way to focus on outside affairs, when in our country, in the United States of America, it's really bad. It's really bad. And I mean, on the mental, physical, financial, every level in the United States of America is bad. And specifically for Black Americans, it's extremely bad. So with that being said, this is just an example of what America has to offer to its people, and them not putting wraps on these situations and allowing it to get this far, and then dumbing down and saying mental illness. If it was such a mental illness thing, they wouldn't allow this guy to leave that hospital. They wouldn't allow this guy to buy guns after he had been admitted to a hospital. Okay, so I know I can't compare the two. I'm just going to focus on the mental illness part of it. Okay, they're saying after this guy committed all these atrocities, he was suffering from mental illness. He had checked into the hospital, started hearing voice and all these things. I just want to let you guys know, I have a friend, and he actually was suffering from mental illness. He used to hear stuff. He used to always talk about purple planets, all the different stuff. He was on one. So what happened was, he was on the streets. He was in the town. He's walking around, and somebody was messing with him, or saying something, just capping on him. They was capping on him because he was kind of off a little bit. So what he do? he snapped. It was kind of like, and he beat him up, assault, all this type of stuff. And pretty much he was just, it was a mental illness situation. They gave that man 25 with an L. Yeah, 25 with an L. And they didn't consider the mental illness part, that he had already been hearing voices. It had been well documented that he had checked into John George, which is in San Leandro. It's a mental facility. And this guy got 25 with an L for defending himself based on his mental illness, because people were making fun of him. No one was making fun of this guy. This guy was able to roam in the community. Everyone's seen him as normal. Everyone's seen this guy. They painted a picture. What they're doing to me is painting this guy. He was normal. We just had mental illnesses, but no one's seen him. Come on now, it just doesn't add up. So for them to say mental illness, and what example? Show me an example of his mental illness. Give the world an example of some of his mental illnesses prior to this act. See, and the thing I don't like, they throw this mental illness stuff in there, but this guy has a criminal history of violence. Violence, you guys, violence. We're not just talking about misdemeanors or where he vandalized some stuff. This guy has a domestic violence, which is violence. So there's a pattern here. Don't dismiss this pattern of violence this guy has already had. The media is not going to report on this, but this guy has a history. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like when I'm just letting you know. When they look at your record, when they look at Black people's record, they look at our history, and it's a point system. They look at how many crimes we committed over the years. They look at that mental issue part. They look at that. They have these evaluations and what they say about Black people is we're conscious and we know what we're doing when we do it. They know we're conscious about even when we're defending ourselves, even when people come in our house or whatever, and we're defending, they say no. Mental illness is a very, 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 very serious health issue. It's very serious, and it's not to be played with, because there are people that actually do have mental illness issues, and they don't do that. The voices they hear in their head don't tell them to do that. There's a whole bunch of people with mental illnesses on this planet, okay? And none of them do that. I just want to say, man, keep your eyes on this one, because me personally, this is my narrative. This is not a mental illness issue. This is an American issue. This is an American issue. This is what Americans do based on what they're subjected to, going to the military. You got to think, man, you send these people to these different countries, send our military vets and stuff to these different countries to defend, to kill, to, protect this country, sovereignty, and they go there and they have to kill, they have to destroy that country in some form of fashion. And then they come back to America. You got to think, they just went to another country where they had to do Lord knows what. And then they come back to their own country, and those same people that they committed these atrocities to or had to defend are here. So, and it's like America is something else, man. It's like this country will say, hey, go over there and do something to that country. But hold on, we still have those same people living here, so it just doesn't make sense to me. Just look at the American picture here. And this is an American issue. This has nothing to do with mental illness. And if you want to say mental illness, the government is mentally ill. Since we want to talk about mental illness, I'm going to just land my plane on this one. The government is mentally ill for allowing this to happen for so long. This is not the first mass killing in the last year. It's been a whole bunch of them. And this is just another example of the great American dream. I'm out. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I also want to say God bless those going through the struggle, and make sure you watch out for them cold narratives that the government trying to push on us, y'all. And to all my Black people, I would be nothing without y'all. God bless you all.